no les abra. Yo, are you serious, bro?
In Los Angeles, that's the voice of Joe Garcia, the man filming the ICE agents. And now they've thrown him to the ground.
You want to go to jail? Fine. You got it.
The pressure of like the knee on like my back and like his hand on my neck, like I felt like, is this it for me?
Hello everybody, David Schuster here. After assaulting Joe Garcia, ICE agents handcuffed and jailed him for 24 hours. And now there is this. U.S. citizen seeks $1 million after arrest, detention for recording immigration raid at Home Depot. Witnesses recorded the violent takedown of Garcia, and legal experts say the ICE arrest was clearly unlawful, given that agents trampled on Garcia's First Amendment rights. The Mexican-American Legal Defense and Education Fund says Garcia's arrest was racially motivated. Quote, the Border Patrol and ICE agents unlawfully restrained and detained Mr. Garcia for more than 24 hours without any valid grounds for interfering with his liberty and freedom of movement, and they did so based on legally prohibited grounds. DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said in an emailed statement to NBC News that Garcia assaulted and verbally harassed a federal agent and that he was subdued and arrested for the alleged assault. The videos do not show Garcia assaulting a federal agent, and the only verbal harassment was this, which is protected free speech.
Yo, are you serious, bro?
Garcia is a PhD student at Claremont University. He told ABC News the officer seemed surprised when Garcia said, I'm a U.S. citizen. He says he was first taken to a holding area at Dodger Stadium where he heard the agents boasting about how many people they had grabbed.
How many bodies did you guys get today? And one of them said 31, and they started like, yay, like it was a good day today, and they were like high-fiving each other.
Garcia says the officers also debated what they should charge him with.
At first it was assault of a federal agent, but only later the narrative started switching because the video was out.
This video of the officers attacking Garcia on the ground soon went viral. Another video from the same Home Depot raid showed officers chasing people who looked Latino and tried to run.
Corre, corre, corre.
A witness described the scene.
Two agents tackled down an individual with no questions. They placed his face into the dirt, physically apprehended him.
Taken together, the videos at the Home Depot in Hollywood show the recklessness and violent ICE approach. That disregard for due process and constitutional rights will be central to Garcia's lawsuit if it ever goes to trial. Legal experts say that under normal circumstances, a law enforcement agency would recognize its exposure to civil liability in this sort of case and try to settle. But there's nothing normal about the Trump administration's approach to migrant deportations. Even the broad assertions being made by Trump officials has become extreme.
The other day I was talking to some marshals that have been partnering with ICE. They said that they had detained a cannibal and put him on a plane to take him home. And while they had him in his seat, he started to eat himself. And they had to get him off and get him medical attention. These are the kind of deranged individuals that are on our streets in America that we're trying to target and get out of our country.
There is no published report or government record that supports Noam's assertion about a cannibal. But the wild claim is in keeping with the Trump administration's deportation propaganda.
We are going after murderers and rapists and traffickers and drug dealers and getting them off the streets.
But as CBS News reports, ICE holding a record 59,000 immigrant detainees, nearly half with no criminal record, internal data show. And ICE detentions of non-criminal immigrants spike. Only 8% have violent convictions, analysis of data shows. In other words, 92% of those being held are peaceful. They are not the bad hombres, as Trump said, that would be targeted. The Trump penchant for making false claims has now caught up with the administration in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland father arrested and deported to a jail in El Salvador before recently being returned to the United States. As Raw Story reports, public disparagement, Trump DOJ hit with gag order in Abrego Garcia case. A judge has ordered the Trump Justice Department to stop talking about the Garcia case publicly following the administration's slew of lies about him. Back in California, the credibility and basic decency of the Trump administration's ICE agents are also taking self-inflicted hits. Newly released video in Pico Rivera, California shows several agents relieving themselves on the grounds of a high school in plain view of surveillance cameras.
Security video from Ruben Salazar High School in Pico Rivera shows what at first looks like the beginning of an immigration enforcement operation. Agents streaming onto school property in marked and unmarked vehicles. But this wasn't a raid, it was something else.
ERUSD surveillance footage captured approximately 10 ICE agents urinating near storage containers on the Salazar campus parking lot.
El Rancho School Unified District officials released the footage, which they say shows agents on school property, one after another, walking up to the containers to relieve themselves. It happened on June 17th when school was not in session.
This occurred in broad daylight, commencing at approximately 8:54 a.m. to approximately 9:04 a.m.
The Department of Homeland Security says it has launched an internal investigation into those ICE and border agents. No such investigation is apparently underway, though, for the ICE agents who assaulted Job Garcia at the Home Depot in Hollywood. Because while it may be inappropriate for agents to break the law in front of a school surveillance camera, it's apparently fine for ICE agents to tackle and assault a Latino with a camera. Hopefully, Mr. Job Garcia will get far more than the $1 million his lawsuit is seeking. The Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement needs to be reminded in harsh terms that constitutional rights still matter. That means having warrants when sweeping into private property for deportation raids. It also means respecting the rights of everybody to criticize and record law enforcement. Because even if the Trump administration is determined to act like a tyrannical, authoritarian regime, the U.S. Constitution, at least in the courts, still matters. By the way, public polls on Donald Trump's tax and spending bill have now gone from bad to worse.
If we're talking about adjectives, how about they think it's awful, they think it's horrible, and to quote our colleague Charles Barkley, terrible, terrible, terrible. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at the net favorable rating on the big, beautiful bill. I don't just got one poll for you, Omar. I got 5 of them, and the net favorable rating, minus 19 points, Washington Post, minus 20 points, Pew Research Center, Fox, minus 21, Quinnipiac University, minus 26, KFF, minus 29.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Steven, who wrote, "This bill is Project 2025 come to life. The rich have declared war on the poor." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement getting slapped with a $1 million lawsuit for assaulting a U.S. citizen who was filming ICE agents. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.